Hello everyone and welcome to what's another Diablo video, and today again we have a little bit different kind of video that I normally do. Usually I'm taking the max level characters and I'm showing you guys some kind of team based build that I've been creating on, and but this time it's a little bit different. This is kind of leveling build that I'm showing you, and I just started to level up a Witch Doctor a few days ago just for fun, and I wanted to a little bit try out kind of max level build that I'm going to try out at some point, but wanted to see how those skills will work in the leveling phase, and also just testing out a little bit some ideas. And I thought that while leveling up the character it would be nice to try out some stuff, and I think I found, at least for myself, quite interesting and quite effective build, and I just want to share it with you guys. And once again, I'm not telling you how to play the game, I just want to give you some ideas, and I hope that this will give you some kind of ideas about how to level up the Witch Doctor and something like that. But yes, like normally, let's go through the skills, and after that we can go watch some gameplay a little bit, and I can a little bit explain my ideas and decisions behind the build. So let's start with our primary signature spell is the Poison Dart, and with that we are using the Splinters rune that is giving us for 3 darts at the time, and for me this has been working quite nicely. Just a bit faster. Wait, I don't really know if it makes mana to come more faster when you shoot more darts, but it's very good when you're against enemies, and I don't really need to use this so much, but still I find it quite nice. Yeah, don't really know what else to say about it. And next we have the Haunt. That is one of the key elements in this build, and also will be one of the key elements in the max level build that I'm going to most likely to show you guys at some day. But yeah, we have a Haunt with the Consuming Spirit. So basically this is just a dot, and then we have there is a little bit life gain also with this rune. So, and later on I'll be explaining a little bit more about the why Haunt and why Consuming Spirit in the leveling phase. Next we have the Summoning Zombie Dogs, and with there we have the Rabbit Dogs. And this is also one thing that goes with the team. If at this moment I would a little bit talk about the team, it's kind of dot based, so damage over time based build, and that is the reason why we are having the Rabbit Dogs. They inflict the poison damage for the enemies, and that is small poison over time damage. So yeah, that's the reason for it there. And next we have the Grasp of the Dead, and once again a little bit more dot damage, and with the Groping Eels rune the Grasp's damage is a little bit higher than normally. So yeah, that's also one thing in here. If you feel like you don't want more damage, then I would say that also Unbreakable Grasp is also quite nice. It slows the enemies down a little bit more, but at the moment I find the Groping Eels to be a little bit more to my taste at the moment. And once again I explain a bit the decisions later on in the video. And next we have the Locust Swarm with the Cloud of Insects rune, and like the theme is, this is just one more dot on the enemies, and at the moment we are using the Cloud of Insects rune in here, and it just makes the swarm to last a little bit longer, and in that way it also makes a little bit more damage. Or not really a little bit more damage. Damage is the same as in the normal version, but the duration is a little bit longer, and so yeah. And last we have the Gargantuan with the Restless Giant rune. So this is just that the rune makes him to do a little bit more damage and stuff, where there's several enemies around him, or there are champions, rares, or bosses near him. So yeah, and for reason why I'm having him at the moment is he's a little bit tanky minion. He runs with a lot of the enemies and start to. I feel like he's quite often taking the aggro, so I can concentrate spraying my dots all over the place. So that is the reasoning why he's at the moment in here. But I think that I can say that in max level build we are going to kick his out from the team, and there are a few other things that I'm going to replace him with. And if we go through passives, we have the Spiritual Attunement. This is just giving us a little bit more mana and a little bit more mana regeneration, and yeah, that's the most running here. And then we have Bad Medicine. The enemies that are taking poison damage are doing less damage to us. So, and in our build there is several things that are making poison damage. At least the dogs are making, and it looks like that's the only thing at the moment. But that's also something that is going to change at some point. But yeah, but at least that this is something that at the moment helps the dogs mostly, and but still at the moment during leveling phase, I think if you want you can change this something else if you find something more useful. And last we have the Pierce the Whale. We do more damage, but the mana cost is higher, so I think at the moment this is quite good trade. Of course, if I use few hounds and throw grasp and locust farm, I go quite close to but I spend almost all my mana pool, but still, so far I haven't really seen that the mana would have been a real problem for me at the moment. And one thing that I would say that overall with this build, this is something that you can get at this form. Well, to get all 3 passives you need to be level 30, but if we forget about the Bad Medicine, we don't think that this is not so necessary. With this 6, with all these runes, and with Spiritual Attunement and Pierce the Whale, this should be something that you can have already in level 27, if I remember right. So, but all of these are something that you can start to build up quite quickly, and I'd say that most of these are something that I would even use even without the runes. So I think Gargantuan is the last thing that you get with the normal without the rune version where it opens. So I think was it level 19 or something? Can't remember at the moment, but yeah. But with the skills and runes, this is something that you can have at level 27 without bad medicine. And if you want, of course, if you want all 3 passives, then you need to be level 30. But yes, I think it's time to, let's call them minions, and I think it's time to go to the gameplay itself. And let's go see what we have in here. So, like I said earlier, this is going to be something that I'm going to use in the max level at some point, and mainly I'm just testing out some stuff in here. And okay, so we had a little bit lag. And the reason why I'm showing this at the moment with the PC is that I like it when I can a little bit easier to control my haunt, because I think I've said this before earlier that in console version it's not really that easy to. So we are having lots of champions and stuff like that in here. Yeah. Like I was trying to say, that in console it's not really that easy to control where you're targeting with the enemies. And I was thinking about in there also this kind of dot paste build, but I really didn't feel like that I did get it to work in that way that I wanted. So yeah, I was a little bit saving it to when I was starting to think about trying out the PC version again. But I think, like you can see already in the gameplay here, the idea with this build is to spread your dots quite widely in the beginning, throw out a few haunts, and then put your locust swarm to run through the bigger groups of enemies. And if there is several enemies, I would say, well, I don't really know what would be good amounts of enemies, but let's say there is several enemies, 5 or more, then I would also drop the grasp on the ground to make some more dot damage to the enemies. And but otherwise, I would say that the way I'm using this is I throw a few hounds to run around there, and then I run a little bit closer to the group so that I can infect the locust swarm to the enemies. And that basically it is. The idea from this build I did get from World of Warcraft. I was at one point playing a little bit with the Warlock, and in there I did get this. With Warlock I always love to play as Affliction, because I'm lazy, and I like to call it the AFK build, because basically you're just throwing the dots, and after that you don't really do much. So, and I was getting curious that could that be something that might work also in the Witch Doctor in Diablo, and so far what I've seen, it is something that could work. And well, I'm having also another Witch Doctor that is a little bit higher level, and with him I already can have kind of the final version of the build that I'm using, want to use in the with the level of 70, and I've been really trying out it, mainly with the if the few changes that I'm planning about this build is going to work the way I want them to work in the later levels, and I feel like this is gonna be quite good and effective build in later on also. Once again, I'm not saying that this is something that you would like to use with the speedruns in Rift or something like that, but at least while leveling up, I've seen that this can be quite good AoE build to clean out the enemies, and at least at this level, I feel like when I throw a few hounds and Locust Swarm, it does go quite quickly through the even a little bit larger groups, and those blue enemies, I think archer champions or something like that, they go down quite quickly also. And with these yellow dot guys, I quite often throw that traps below them, so I can get a little bit more damage, but unfortunately this guy so often likes to move a lot, so it's not really that effective, but still I feel like that only the dots does also so good damage that it's not really that necessary to use it. So basically some of you might think that that's not really even so necessary skill for the build, and well, I wouldn't disagree about like I said earlier, I like to make team builds, and that goes with the team, so don't know what else to say. And in these situations you can really see the benefits from playing with the PC over the console, because there was those few summoner guys, and with PC it's so much easier to throw dots on them when you can just put your mouse over them and click the spell that you want. And in console it's the targeting for those guys is just a little bit harder. I would say it's not impossible, but it goes a little bit harder, so in that reason I would say that this is the kind of build that can work in console version also, but same time I a little bit think that this playing with on PC with this build has some benefits that you might not have with the console. And I'm not sure, I think all those text around here shows in the screen, so you can see that I'm leveling up with the master difficulty at the moment, and So reason for that is you can just have so much more XP in that way. So at least for me, it feels like that the leveling process is a little bit faster. And otherwise, if I would a little bit comment something about my style of leveling, I do quite often go a little bit glass cannon style. I would say that with when I get a gear, I more often, if the damage increase is much higher than the health or healing or the toughness stats, then I always take more damage, at least in the leveling. In later on, of course, I start to a little bit more look around for the survivability with the build, but or with the gear, but at the moment I like to go damage over survivability, because it feels like the while leveling, you just if you get enemies down much quicker, then it's not real problem with the healing stuff. And here we come also one of the reasons why we are having our Hound Rune, why we have the Consuming Spirit, because there was the healing side of the thing. And so far I've seen, if I throw enough hounds in the larger group, it doesn't matter if I get few hits. Quite often I've been getting very close to the, or back to the max health. So that is something. Let's go get the chest over there. But yes, but like I said, this is just something that has been working for me at the moment with the Witch Doctor, and I'm not saying that this is something that will work with you. I think it's the way you like to play the game. For me, this is something that playing style that I personally enjoy, and so in that meaning, I would say that this is something that works for me. But because this is more like I throw the damage, and after that I basically sit further away and some cases throw those poison darts to the enemies. So that way I would say that this is a little bit more my kind of playing, but yeah. But if it's not really fitting for your playstyle, then I'm sure you can still find some kind of interesting ideas from here. So, and yeah, I think this is good place to wrap up the video. First, yeah, yeah, I think it's good place, and yeah, sure. So I hope you did get some ideas in here, and feel free to try out this if you want. And like always, remember, games are fun, and with most games the idea is to enjoy while playing them. So guys, remember, have fun and enjoy gaming, and we'll see you in the next time. See ya!